Do you think it's possible to lose weight by eating cookies, or does that sound like an idea that's just too good to be true? Can it be a good way to kickstart your quest to lose weight, or would there be health risk to it? Well, this couple says that it lost 82.5 pounds combined eating these cookies, and they swear by it. And so does its creator, Dr. Sanford Siegal, who is joining us on this edition of It's Your Call to tell us about the cookie diet. It is that time of the year again, time to be thinking about getting into the old swimsuit. And for many of us, that means checking out the latest diet or exercise trends. But how do you know what's a fad diet and which ones will have surefire results? We'll be talking about that in this half hour. Hello, everyone. It's good to have you with us. I'm Lynn Doyle. And about this time last year, we introduced you to the man who created what he calls the cookie diet. Here's how it works. You eat 6 cookies a day. You eat one reasonable dinner containing 900 calories or so. You want to make sure you take a multivitamin and drink about 2 quarts of water every day. Now, while this may seem too good to be true, and some diet experts will disagree and say this is a fad, the creator says it's got proven results. Look at these numbers. There were over 500,000 participants, over 100 million participants worldwide. And it is a diet that is used by over 200 physicians in their practices. In just a moment, we're going to meet a couple of folks who swear by this so-called cookie diet. But first, let me introduce its founder. Dr. Sanford Siegal is best known as the creator of the Dr. Siegal's Cookie Diet weight loss system and hunger-controlling foods, which he created in 1975. And his son, Matt, is the CEO of the Dr. Siegal's Cookie Diet growing empire. In fact, in January 2009, the nation's 8th Dr. Siegal's Cookie Diet retail location opened in none other than Beverly Hills. Gentlemen, it's nice to have you with us.
Hello, Lynn.
Dr. Siegal, thanks for joining us once again. We got a tremendous response when you were on our show last year, and that's why I wanted you to come back, because while a lot of people swear by your diet, we did get some response to the other side of it who said there are some issues with it. Why is it, in your opinion, so effective?
It's effective because it addresses the single most important element in a diet, and that's controlling hunger. And that's what our product does. Dr. Siegal's Cookie Diet, that is the cookie that's used in Dr. Siegal's Cookie Diet, is for controlling hunger, and it does that very, very effectively.
All right, let's talk about how a cookie, which seems like it's too good to be true, this cookie could control my appetite or anyone's appetite. What's in here that makes us resist food?
Well, first of all, that is not an ordinary cookie. It's a formula that I developed way back in 1975, and you know, I'm interested in the fact that I think you mentioned that it's a new diet. It's not a new diet at all. Our diet is 34 years old, and when I developed the cookie, it was it was at a time when I was writing a book about foods that are hunger suppressing, and it's well known that all foods are not the same, do not have the same effect on hunger. Some stimulate hunger, some control hunger. This cookie controls hunger because of the protein content, but it's the particular proteins that I chose to use that makes it effective.
So the protein combination is what will make us feel full and say to our brains, hey, you don't really need something to eat?
Well, it's much like eating a full meal. When you eat a full meal, you're no longer hungry. A message gets said to your brain, that's quite correct. And that's exactly what happens with our cookie, except it happens without having a full meal.
Now, I've had some people write to me when you were on prior to this appearance and when I announced that you would be making a return visit, and they asked me to ask if there are if there's anything, ingredients in this cookie that, like caffeine or some sort of stimulants or something that, like you see in the diet pills,
All right, let me clarify
that are acting as the appetite suppressants.
Let me clarify that. This is entirely a food. There are no drugs of any kind in the cookie. What did you mention, caffeine? No, there's nothing like that in the cookie. This is simply a food, but it's a food that was engineered for a specific purpose, to control hunger.
How do they taste?
I would say they taste pretty good.
Compared to what? Compared to a regular chocolate chip cookie?
Well, there are certainly cookies you could buy that taste better. And frankly, we didn't want them to taste any better than they taste. No, they really are quite good. They're just not the world's best. Okay?
But it does serve the purpose in making you feel as though you are full. That's what you're claiming.
It absolutely turns off hunger.
Okay. Now let's talk about why this appeals to so many people, because when I was reading the numbers of people worldwide who have participated in the cookie diet over the years, and you're right, it's not new. I was talking about new diet trends of this season, and invariably someone always brings in a tried and true one, which the cookie diet has been. Right. Why do you think it appeals to so many people?
Let me first comment about the new aspect of this. So many people think it's new, but every year for 34 years they've thought it was new. And the reason is because there's constantly an evolution as far as people discovering it. And the most recent one, which I'm sure you know, is the celebrities, because of our Beverly Hills store. And every day there's another celebrity, a report of a celebrity being cited. That's why people think it's new, because it's growing, but it's actually not new. The reason why it's popular, there's really only one reason. It works. We do very little advertising. We don't need to. 86% of the people who come to CookieDiet.com and buy the cookies say they heard about us from a friend, relative, or coworker. There's only one explanation for that. It's because it works, and it works because it's so simple. It's not. There are a lot of great diets out there that if people followed them, they would work, but they're complicated. They're impractical. Eat 6 cookies a day, a reasonable dinner at night, follow a 1,000 calorie or so diet. Well, everybody loses weight on 1,000 calories.
Big question. Everyone loses weight, but can you maintain that weight loss? And that seems to be an area where I would want definitive answers, that it's great to lose the weight, but if it's going to be back as soon as I stop eating the cookies, then I'm going to have to think twice about it.
That's a question for a doctor, and I know a doctor who can answer that question very well, and I think he just did in his new book. So.
You know, there's no question I've asked more frequently than the one you just asked, and that is it permanent? Well, the fact is that the weight loss on any diet, the most well-meaning advice that's given is not permanent, in the sense that if you go off of the regime and you don't do something to replace it, a maintenance diet that works, then of course you'll gain back the weight. When you lose weight on a diet, you have to do this by reducing the calories. And Matt mentioned a 1,000-calorie diet. In our practice, we sometimes even go lower. Some of the doctors who use our product with their own practices use more calories than that. But the fact is that when you are on a low-calorie diet, you lose weight.
Okay.
Now, once you reach your goal weight, if you resume your old eating habits, the ones that made you overweight to begin with, of course you gain them back.
So this is really like a kickstart. Like this could be used to motivate someone to drop 10, 15, 20, even more, and then once they see the results, they say, okay, now I'm going to adopt a healthy lifestyle?
There's a wonderful analogy made in the book. First of all, there's an important distinction made between a weight loss diet and a weight maintenance diet. So many people, nutritionists particularly, will say, well, it's a fad diet because you lose the weight, but then you gain it back. No, it's a diet designed to take the weight off as quickly and safely as possible. But then there's the next part, and that is the lifetime weight maintenance, which is a totally different approach. It involves sensible eating, and it involves exercise. But the analogy is this. You're playing racquetball. You slip and you break your arm. You go to a doctor. He does a wonderful job of setting the fracture, and 3 months later you're back on the racquetball court. If a year later you slip and you break your arm again, do you go back to the same doctor, or do you say, wait a minute, I've broken my arm again. There must have been something wrong with the way he set my fracture. This diet, as any low-calorie diet
works... I think if I did it
works,
again, I'd probably not play racquetball anymore.
Well, there you go. And it's
but that's just me.
Or if you've lost the weight, perhaps you wouldn't go back to your old habits.
Right.
But if you do, you're going to gain the weight back, but it had nothing to do with the method you chose to lose the weight in the first place.
All right, the topic this hour is weight loss and weight loss maintenance, and as always, we always give you a chance to weigh in, and never more so is that more appropriate than right now. We want to know what you have to say about this cookie diet. Would you give it a try? Do you find yourself being just a little bit skeptical about it, or any diet that promises such results? Or have you used it and gotten great results? If you want to share your stories with us, a couple of different ways that you can tell us how to do that. You can email your thoughts and opinion to me. You can log on to CS